So hello everyone, and thank you for joining our event. Today we have with us Dan and Dragoș from Deloitte Romania, who have prepared a very interesting topic for us. And I give the floor to Dan and Dragoș.
Yeah, hello everyone, and nice to have an audience for our presentation. Today's session will be regarding command and control beacons through the cloud. I will try right now to share my screen, and hopefully it will work. I think it's running.
Yes.
So yes, thank you again for coming. This will be our session for today. A short introduction from our side, and I am Dan Marin from Deloitte. I am working in Deloitte for almost 7 years right now, in the cybersecurity department. Before that, I was a developer and system administrator. I have a master's degree in information security. I have a lot of certifications within this field. Dragoș also has a lot of them, and we did not manage to present them all in this slide. These are only a few of them, which have the logo on this slide. We both participated in many projects, mostly in banking projects, but also in healthcare, automotive, and other miscellaneous projects. Right now, I'll let Dragoș to also introduce himself, because I don't want to keep to gain his glory. So, Dragoș, if you like to say a few words.
Thanks, Dan. So I'm Dragoș. I have 5 years in Deloitte, over 12 years experience in security field. Started as a web developer, and when I saw that a lot of my websites were hacked, I started to be more curious about cybersecurity, and made the first steps, of course, learning about web security, and try to be up to date with all the trends. So I also started like 4 years ago to discover the red team operations field, and starting to gain a lot of knowledge. And yeah, here I am running with Dan, and also with my colleagues from Deloitte, a lot of projects in red team. I'll pass the floor to Dan to continue the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Dragoș, for this introduction. On today's agenda, we will try to cover the field of command and control beacons, and mostly we will try to focus on how can we, from a red team perspective, how can we be more stealthy and use all the new cloud infrastructures and cloud providers out there in order to leverage this thing. So in the first chapter, we'll talk a little bit about the command and control infrastructure, how it was before, how it is now, why is the cloud important for red teaming, and basically we will talk a little bit about the Azure Azure infrastructure, because this is like a very small proof of concept that we've tried to put together. And finally, we will talk about how we can bypass EDR solutions using these trusted cloud platforms. This on the screen right now, you can see a very simple illustration of how a command and control center works. And basically, there is a command and control server. In this case, we are proposing the Cobalt Strike server, which is our main command and control server that we use in our engagements. There are many others, but this is the main one, which is very expandable, extendable, that has many plugins. It's very widely known in the community, and leveraging this extensibility, we will in the future and in the rest of the presentation, we'll tell you about how we can make it more stealthier. So this is it about the Cobalt Strike server. Basically, the simplest way to deploy a command and control is just have a public IP address mapped to the Cobalt Strike server, and in some way or form compromise some other computers, hosts, victims, whatever you may like to call them. This is a very tricky situation, because if this is your deployment as a red team, you have a single point of failure, and basically the communication that the blue team sees in the targeted organization is basically the communication from their internal network to the internet and the Cobalt Strike server, and this is very easily spottable, and it's very easy to deny access to and basically put down the communication. This is why this kind of approach is the wrong approach, because having only one line of communication with you and the target that you are trying to compromise, it's not that easily expandable, let's say, because not only you can see the communication with the clients, but the blue team also, as I mentioned before, can easily spot your communication and deny the access to those IP to the IP targets of the Cobalt Strike server. Then what is the cloud? What it is the cloud? The cloud has been around for many years. I think from the beginning of the internet, that was the cloud, because if you can send an email or read a document which is not on your computer, that is the cloud. What other services are? There are streaming services. When you watch a movie, you are accessing the cloud. When you're listening to music, you are also accessing the cloud. When you are trying to shop for something, that's also the cloud, because they are not stored on your computer. This is a very holistic approach in trying to say that everything is cloud, but basically what is not running on your computer, that is a cloud, because you don't know where it's running from. It's just trying to deliver you data. In the previous slides, we were talking about the cloud and the services that they are provided, that they provide us. But how does the cloud is being seen from a developer's perspective? The developers see the cloud differently. They see the cloud as opportunities to develop, and they see providers. One, and the biggest one, I think, I have not dug into the numbers, but I think the biggest one is AWS, which has a lot of services and platforms which can help business grow relatively fast. Another one is the Google platform, which is very similar in service offerings. Another one which is very extended through all organization is the Azure platform from Microsoft, because as we already know, all the services critical for the day-to-day work of the business is run in Azure, from email, Teams, SharePoint, Excel Online, and all the others, or the other services. Another one which is very new to the market from my perspective is the Oracle Cloud. They have joined relatively late the cloud party, but I see that they are trying very hard to have quite a market share from the big three already mentioned. So we talked about the cloud, but why is that they are very important? What services are there in the cloud? So we will start from the very smallest part in which we think about the cloud. We think about the cloud as virtual machines that are not managed by us on premises, that we can access and deploy all sorts of things on them. In all the previous cloud providers that I've mentioned, we can have pre-built machines, we can have custom ones, and all of these machines can be really fast deployed and put up to speed in order to deploy the services and the applications, or if you want anything that you can think of, and you will see in the next slides what have we thought about these virtual machines. Another very interesting service is the storage services that can be used for a lot of things. It can be used for backup. It can be used as transactional data. You can store very different formats: JSON, XML, clear text, CSV, and so on. And it's easy to develop and integrate in every application that you can imagine. So this will be also a very interesting topic from the offensive perspective of the IT community. Another one is the serverless functions of the cloud infrastructure, that you can run any code without spinning up a VM. This greatly increases the time that you can run your code and create a proof of concept or anything you can imagine. It's easily integratable into anything that you have already done and it's already built. You can vastly increase the computing power, and it's relatively easy to deploy if you have skilled personnel at your disposal. The last part, it's from my perspective the biggest one. I don't know if all of them provide such a solution, but from full solutions, I'm referring here that you can start your business from the ground up without having without having a need for an internal on-premises hardware and server room. Basically, you only need a subscription, and here you can deploy all of your applications. You can create the email addresses. You can create the SharePoint. You can deploy your ERP solutions and any other thing that you can imagine. This the last part with the full solution it's very interesting for us, because if you can remember the previous slide when we have talked about the classical command and control solution, the Cobalt Strike server spoke with the compromised host directly via a public IP address, which is bad, as we have a little bit spoken previously. How does the cloud interfere with this problem from the red teaming perspective? Well, basically, it's like a buffer in which the compromised host via internet do not talk directly to the Cobalt Strike server, but use the Microsoft Cloud as a proxy. And in this presentation, I'm talking about Microsoft, because this is what we have done as a proof of concept in the last month, I think, for a client of ours, and it was a very great success. So basically, the cloud provides us with a buffer and it's very easy for a red team operator to mix within legitimate traffic that is generated from the organization. Previously, when the blue team saw the communication between the infected clients and the Cobalt Strike server, now if they try to inspect the traffic coming out of their network, they will see only legitimate traffic that is coming and going to the Microsoft cloud, which is very hard for them to filter or to try to deny access to. Basically, this is a screen capture of some traffic that was generated from our custom program, our Cobalt Strike beacon. It is only pure HTTPS traffic from the internal host to an trusted Microsoft IP address. And basically, this address, it's very hard to blacklist, because if you blacklist Microsoft address, all sorts of things will go wrong. Some of the communication may go down. You cannot access Skype or Teams or any other services critical to your business. But let's say you have an EDR solution implemented in your organization. For sure, that EDR solution with the packet inspection capabilities can flag out the malicious communication. Well, this is a packet trace from a very well-known EDR solution. This is from, as you can see in the date, from 30th of November, from one of our engagements. And this EDR solution, not only that he did not block the communication, it marked our beacon traffic as legitimate VoIP packet activity. So basically, as I said in the beginning, this kind of traffic with legitimate and trusted sites within the cloud that you use very often can be masked to transport malicious beacon activities. How does this cover channel via the Microsoft Cloud work? How does the implant try to evade all the detections and endpoint security and EDR solutions and so on? Basically, this is a proprietary solution developed by the Deloitte Cyber Risk Services. It has custom code. It is in continuous development. It has multiple supported channels that we'll speak a little bit in the next slides. We had many deals of success with this implant. We have not been detected so far in any of our engagements. We support many communication channels. Like if we notice that the organization is heavily dependent on the public Git repositories, we can use a Git repository in order to have the communication. The teams channel is one of the greatest channels that we've managed to have a lot of success with, as mentioned earlier. We also have a channel communicating via WordPress. This is a very edge case scenario in which say the red team managed to compromise a portal or something that is hosted on WordPress. Basically, then the red team can deploy a custom plugin, and through it we can compromise all the rest of the infrastructure and all the traffic that is generated. It's very under the radar, as the communication is with the legitimate own WordPress portal. Some other communication channels are the SMB shares and SQL Server channels. These are mainly used as lateral movement and trying to bypass network restrictions, as if one server is compromised and is not a proxy or a router or anything, but it has multiple interfaces that can speak with other parts of the network, that can be used as a proxy if it is compromised. The most difficult part in this one is the delivery. The delivery that can be done as a phishing attack or some watering hole attack, or I don't know, many other delivery solutions. But with the last improvements in the Microsoft Windows operating system, we see that this can be a very difficult problem to overcome as a red teaming team. The most difficult part for us was the bypassing of the mark of the web. I don't know how to say it. The mark of the web tag that is put on all binaries that are downloaded from the web, even if we did manage to embed them in the custom tenant in our Microsoft Teams channel. They also have the mark of the web flag on them, and they did not run as easily as we thought. But as for the delivery, for sure we have some other very interesting ideas, and I will let Dragos here speak about the many opportunities that we have using the phishing attacks and the delivery of the payloads. So Dragos.
Yes. So regarding this part of the delivery, we are, let's say, using traditional tools like GoFish or EvilGenix, which are most common in trying to serve phishing emails. But since those are like open source tools, we are trying to reverse engineer them to understand where those tools are, let's say, doing some fingerprints, adding some tags or something which can be triggered by an EDR or defense mechanism to block this kind of phishing attacks. So we are reversing engineering them. We are trying to remove them, or we are trying to put some tags which are, let's say, our watermark for them. In order to deliver, we are not just sending the executables as attachments. Yeah, we are trying to create the social engineering part as good as possible in order to make the target to click on some links, and the executable should be delivered through that website. That's why Dan told about WordPress, because we are trying to create some our own domains. We are building those websites and try to put there our beacon through that payload, which sometimes are very well trained in order to bypass some proxies, because if the domain has enough authority and the reputation is good, the traffic won't be blocked. So it should be considered like a normal website, just for, let's say, news. Other kind of techniques are HTTP smuggling. Yeah, if you are visiting like websites and suddenly after 5 seconds you'll get a website, an executable because you were attention that you're gonna get that after you will open the URL that we sent you. Then should be fine. You won't need to click on some other, let's say, link into the phishing page. Yeah, those are, let's say, some mechanisms that we try to improve on a daily basis, because like the, let's say, unconventional attackers or the APTs are trying to invest in knowledge and trying to discover new methods. We are also doing the same thing. We are trying to apply these kind of techniques and probably to make them better in order to bypass any restrictions or EDRs or other kind of defense mechanisms. So then I'll leave the floor to you.
Thank you, Dragoș, for your input. This Dragoș talked about the delivery part. The next one, the persistence that we are trying to achieve using these techniques. It is not, let's say, not very relevant to the communication type and the custom code that is put in place. Basically, for the persistence, you have to use very classical methods like registry updates or scheduled tasks or hijacking some legitimate processes, DLL hijacking, and so on. But using this method, for sure, you will have the opportunity and the impact that you would like. With these four topics, I think we have covered the whole of the attack chain, from how we can create an implant, how it can communicate, how you can deliver it, and how to persist in the target's network. But let's talk a little bit about how this can all be possible and how did we do it, basically. The team's cover channel started as a solution that we tried to mimic, as we saw that the Cobalt Strike creator, I think it's Rafael Mudge or something, this is his name, he presented a few years ago how can anybody extend the beacon's capability in order to communicate via anything out there. And this was a game changer for us, because we did not have to rely on some redirectors or proxies within the internet, or trying to buy a very huge amount of domains, or having access to various and a very large number of IP addresses. And we thought that we could leverage the whole cloud itself in order to communicate and gain access to other networks. And as I said, this started as a small project that eventually grew, and now it's almost in beta, let's say, because it still has some development work needed, but it is ready for deployment, and we have successfully compromised some clients that were eager to see how this attack could work. And basically, the solution is made up of two parts: the server and the client part. The client is the implant itself that the client needs to run, and the server is the intermediate part the software that communicates with the Cobalt Strike server and with the cloud itself. For the Teams cover channel, we have used the Teams toolkit provided by Microsoft in order to create a chatbot that we have deployed into our own tenant. And basically, this chatbot only stores and relays the commands and communication received from either side of the tunnel, from the Cobalt Strike server or from the beacon itself. We are not Azure or cloud developers, but with a few trial and error approaches, we have managed to deploy and create and deploy this solution in less than 2 weeks. Fortunately for us, the Visual Studio Code IDE that is provided by Microsoft greatly helped us in order to pack and deploy the chatbot. Next, after the chatbot is deployed, we can manage it through the Azure web interface. We can see its ID, the subscription, where is listening on. This on the screen right now, you can see the public URL for one of our beacons in the past. This was used as presented previously and bypassed the ADR solution. Also, when we did deploy this one, the blue team, not only that they did not know that we have managed to run a successful Cobalt Strike beacon, they also did not know where we point to. And when we said that we pointed to the Azure websites domain, they were very, very impressed, as this was a very novel technique for them, for us also, because we have spent a lot of time in order to trying to figure out how we can leverage the day-to-day tools that are being used in the organization to bypass and try to stay under the radar as a red teaming operations. After this all setup is made, this is our command window of the external C2 server. Basically, we can see if any beacons come to us, and we can see that they are trying to read the stager. We can send the stagers to them. This is only an eye candy window, but it's very useful for us in order to see if we have successfully fished somebody before the beacon appears in the Cobalt Strike infrastructure. This is all from our side. As before the Q&A session starts, I will try to talk a little bit about what is the future work for this kind of communication. Basically, we will try to leverage all the other providers that we have spoken before, like the AWS serverless functions. They are a very good candidate for us to try to proxy the traffic to, but this is something that is very dependent on the type of workload that the client is used to. If he doesn't use AWS that much, this will be a clear indicator that something is going wrong when suddenly all this traffic to AWS is coming out of the network. But again, this should be targeted before deploying the beacon. Also with S3 buckets and online cloud databases. This is something that we are trying to leverage in order to hide our Cobalt Strike beacon. And I think that's it. For sure, in the future we have many more ideas, but for now, I hope that you have enjoyed our small presentation. And if there are any questions, I will happily try to answer them. Maybe I do not have all the answers.
Thank you very much for the presentation and for the practical insights into your work and how things tie together. So now we open up the floor for questions. Please either write in the chat or raise your hand, and I will unmute you. Okay. Now, until we are waiting for questions, maybe I have one. In terms of the let's say requests from clients, what did you see more being requested? More testing the delivery side of things? So the part referring to passing through the security technology and reaching the end users, or the communication part to see if there are detection mechanisms for the communication?
Yeah, so basically in the last, I think, 2 or 3 of these type of engagements, the client asked us to bypass their network security, thinking about that their employees, for sure they will click on something or run some sketchy executable and so on, and they were trying to find out if they can spot us in their use day-to-day communication. So in order to answer your question, is the second one. The clients in this part, they are trying to find out if they can spot us after post infection, let's say.
Okay, super. I see Graciela also has her hand up.
Yes, hi everybody. Hi Larissa. Hi Dragos, good to see you. Hi Dan, nice to meet you.
Hi, Graciela.
I don't feel I'm able to address any technical question. I'm happy that in this universe there are some technical people who can run and who can manage those kind of projects. I'm very happy with this. However, thinking from above, I would be curious because you mentioned as an example, you can build different scenarios based on some weaknesses of the organization. For example, exploiting deficiencies. In your opinion, the awareness campaigns run by organizations are in any way effective? Because there are, I found different opinions on this, and the latest one is the organization should not put pressure on users, should put more effort on configurations and technical aspects of the devices, for example. Would you have an opinion on are they effective or?
Yes. Okay. It's a very nice question, and from my opinion, for sure it has a positive impact. Although if the organization says that okay, we will try to invest more in the technology and trying to block all sorts of attacks, many issues that have come in the past years were human related. So basically, we are talking about very large companies that have been infiltrated, and afterwards we have seen them in the news, and the sole corporate was a user clicking on a link or downloading some file. So basically, from my perspective, if you are able to to create phishing campaigns that are very reasonable and not obvious phishing campaigns internally. I mean, at that the users can learn from. For sure, you can go ahead with this approach, because this you have nothing to lose in the end. You have a phishing campaign that you have in the end the results. Maybe it's a full blunt that did not happen anything, but also you did not lose anything. Basically, you have taught your employees that, okay, you have to watch out for this kind of phishing attacks. So, in my opinion, it's very this kind of awareness test trainings are very, very useful.
Thank you very much. I like
Yeah.
reasonable, the word reasonable. I like it.
I would also want to add something regarding this part of awareness. So speaking about phishing campaigns, there are two scenarios. Yeah, one where the clients need let's say awareness exercises. So they are just looking for, I don't know, how many people clicked on some specific links, how many downloaded some specific files, and phishing from the perspective of, let's say, an advanced attack. So in this case, we are quite targeting some high-level accounts which have some high privileges into the company, where, of course, we can have some nice results of this kind of exercise. We are targeting them because we know that they also have, let's say, a well security posture, a mature level. They have all the vendors around them in terms of, let's say, defensive hardware, EDRs, XDRs, a lot of three-letter equipments. But when we are talking about how those equipments are configured, we know that some of them can be easily bypassed, and we somehow try to find a way how to chain this kind of attacks. Yeah. In case, I don't know, we know that they are using, let's say, Microsoft, because it's something that we identify quite usually. It's not easy to bypass, let's say, Microsoft solutions, but there are some dummy ways to bypass them, to evade them. And after that, you will get a nice beacon. But when you are trying to obtain, to exfiltrate the data from the client computer, you'll understand that there are other mechanisms that you need to bypass. So yeah, it depends on this kind of scenarios that our clients are interested in. We have a sort of a service which is quite focused on phishing, but it's more for awareness. Yeah, when clients want to understand which are the numbers, how many colleagues need to understand this kind of let's say awareness exercises, and those who have a good maturity posture and which are more interested in let's say defining additional barriers or just refining a little bit their configurations to understand how a real attacker can do his work.
Thank you, Dragos. I would have a guilty pleasure to run a campaign targeting C-level individuals. Have you had such projects? Are there outside any requirement in this regard? That would mean for me a very high maturity level of an organization, being aware that actually the targets are the ones who are very high with a high authority or high privileged access, which is totally correct at the first sight, of course. Is anybody requesting such a question or initiating such project?
Yes, they are interested in let's say in C-level. They are highly monitoring this kind of personnel. Sometimes not. Those are, let's say, from C-level. They are just some normal operators who just do their let's say daily jobs, daily tasks, moving let's say moving money from an account to another without two-factor or three-factor or let's say four eyes mechanism. So it's quite easily to get into this kind of systems. But we had some situations where all the systems were in place, and it was very hard to play with the to play that people. Yeah. So if there are some, let's say, additional social engineering stuff that needs to be done in order to make that guy performing another click, yeah, it's it's something bad for us. But just to answer your question, yeah, we do this kind of exercises, and we are also discussing with the clients in order to target the real targets. Yeah, like let's say like Russians, Chinese, or other well-known attackers do.
Thank you very much.
Super. Thank you. Great discussions. If anyone else has any questions, you can raise your hand or you can write in the chat. We'll wait a couple of more minutes. In the meantime, maybe I have a question to see your feedback on this. Do you also have maybe some recommendation for countermeasures, maybe to block the attack at a certain point in time through the cyber kill chain? Some hints?
Yeah, this is a very nice nice question. We have really thought about this one because this is a question that we was asked that was asked by a client. Basically, if you are trying to stop this kind of attack, mainly we are speaking here about only the communication channel, because otherwise we are fully under the radar, not doing anything malicious at all in the first time. We're trying to wait and see if we can put our hands on something. In the first stage of the attack, we do not have any kind of recommendation other than the security awareness not to click or download anything from the web. Afterwards, if the executable is ran executable Word document, what you want to call it, because we can package this in many other formats. Afterwards, for sure, you have to have in place a very tight security monitoring and a network team in order to see abnormal traffic coming from a workstation. Even if it is going to legitimate websites, legitimate sources, and so on. If there is a spike, let's say at closing hours or early in the morning or something, it's behavioral analytics that you are trying to find out. Because honestly speaking, after you as a victim have run the payload, we can do all sorts of kung fu magic in order to unhook the EDR, not trigger any alerts in the Windows logging system. We can erase the local files and so on. So basically, in order to catch this kind of activity, you have to have a very behavioral monitoring team.
Okay, super. Thank you. So focus more on the traffic patterns and not on the end device, let's say.
Yeah, but for sure you have to have also the devices very secure, because it is kind of difficult, let's say, with, like I said previously in the presentation, with the latest versions of Windows, with all those tags and mark of the web and to smart screen pop-ups and so on. It's very difficult for us to get the target to click on something and actually run it. But if they run it, then you should have some network monitoring in place that you can detect this abnormal traffic.
Okay, super, many thanks. Now, if there are no other questions, if you have some final words for us, and then we can conclude the event.
From my side, I'm very happy that we had some questions at the end. Hopefully, our presentation did bring some insights and some new perspective into how can a network be compromised using trusted services. And I'm watching right now that we have a very nice audience. So thank you guys for bearing with us for this time and listening to our insights and technical gibberish, let's say.
Thank you also.
Thank you, very interesting presentation and very useful, let's say. Okay, so this concludes our event for today. Thank you for your participation. The registration, the recording will be available on YouTube, and hope to see you soon for our next event. And special thanks to Dan and Dragos for the very interesting presentation.
Thank you so much, and
Thank
also
you.
thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, and have a nice evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.